The last time I was in here, I kid you not, the largest spider I've ever seen ran across the wall. So if I stand up and scream at some point, that's what's going on. Hey, what's up? It's Iris. Today I'm filming a little Q&A because I haven't done one of those in a long time. I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram as well as on a community post on YouTube, so you would have the chance no matter where you were if you didn't already follow me on Instagram. If you want to add me to your Instagram feed, once again, no pressure there because I understand toxic social media. But if you want to add me to your feed, you can go ahead and follow me at Iris Olympia on Instagram. That's my handle on everything. Don't follow me on TikTok, please. I hate TikTok. But I'm going to answer some questions. And this is also my 25,000 subscriber special. Hello. Guys, it's insane to me that there are that many of you people. Like, I get to be a YouTuber now. Like, that's really exciting. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for finding something in my content. Just thank you a lot. You know, it does feel good. Yeah, it's So one question I'm just going to start with, because I get it a lot, is what is the name of my haircut? Guys, I have no idea. Usually what I do is I go to my hairdresser, I go to one lady all the time. So now she knows what my haircut looks like because she's the one who kind of came up with it. But basically it's a short shag. Initially I showed her the picture I show in my hair tutorial where I stick my head in this thing. So if you want the picture, it's the picture that's in that video. Basically it's that haircut with lots of layers and with like curtain bangs and a middle part. That's what the haircut is, and right now it's really, really grown out. A bunch of people ask me for a hair 360s, but like my hair is so grown out that like it's not what the haircut would be, so I don't know. Next question that I kind of get variations of is like, how did I figure out my style? How did I, come into my androgynous fashion? Honestly, in high school, I don't even want to think about high school. Like, what was I doing? I don't know. I think I was like uncomfortable in a lot of my clothing because I didn't really understand myself as a non-binary person. So there wasn't really an opportunity for me to really get into fashion because I always felt like uncomfortable dressing as a girl. But that was what was represented as like fashionable on like YouTube and Instagram. So I kind of like played into like some of those like fashion trends. But I never really liked the way I felt when I was wearing that trendy clothing. I definitely started to get more into fashion my freshman year of college. I honestly had a huge glow up in college because I was no longer the person that I always had to be in like high school. I grew up in a really, really small town, so I pretty much went to school with the same people from kindergarten through the end of high school, which means that I was kind of the same person for that entire time. Yeah, I changed from like a literal 5-year-old to like an 18-year-old, but I didn't really have the room for experimentation or reinventing myself because it would have been like kind of like a thing. Like people would have noticed that I was purposely changing myself. Whereas once I got to college, it was like I can just be whoever I want to be. I definitely feel more like myself in college. I definitely feel more free in college. But my fashion ended up just being like me seeing a piece of clothing and like if there's some part of it that I just speaks to me, that's what I want to wear. Like every now and then I'll come across a piece online or I just see it on somebody and I'm like, whoa, that's really, really cool. And there's a difference between being like, whoa, that's really cool on them and like, whoa, that's really cool, I want to wear that. I've talked about before how I kind of steal style from people who I find attractive. I do that 100%. That's just the truth of the matter. So that's kind of how I've come into my style. Like, okay, also I want to talk about my current outfit. I'm wearing these green pants, which is a little weird. But as I was like finding the pants to put with this shirt, I like held up these green pants and something about this outfit was just like, I love these colors together. And it's really like, it's kind of weird, but I was sort of like, I need to wear these together. I need to wear them together. So it's just sort of like gut feeling is my fashion impulse. So yeah, I don't know if that helps you, but that's how I found my style. I also want to take a second to Forgive me while I'm influencer Iris for a second. You just call myself that. I'm gonna take a second to mention some of the jewelry I'm wearing. This is the Frenzy chain from Vitaly, as well as the Path earrings. And I'm also wearing this XXX ring, which I think is like really sexy. Like, damn. They kindly sent these to me. And I had actually been eyeing this chain for like 2 months before they reached out to me. It was actually one of those items that was like kind of a gut feeling, like, whoa, that's cool, I want that on my body. Yeah, if you want to check them out, their jewelry is made out of stainless steel, which is the most recyclable metal in the world. It's sustainably made, and their pieces are all really unique to the brand. Like, this design is iconically a Vitaly design, and they come in a bunch of different finishes. Like, this comes in a regular stainless steel color as well as the gold that I have on. So if you want to check them out, I do have a link in the description for 20% off, which is not insignificant. That's actually like kind of huge. I've been getting really into jewelry. It's another part of my fashion glow up, is accessorizing with things like these, and I get compliments on them. So I'm also fueled by compliments. Like, if somebody compliments something I'm wearing, then I'll wear it again. Like, yeah, that's just how it works. I definitely do care about looking cool, but not necessarily about catering to like everyone's taste, but knowing that there's like this certain demographic that's gonna like look at my clothing and be like, that's a cool outfit. And then there will be other demographics who shout at me on the street. Okay, I'm moving on to the next question because that was a while of that. Another question I get a lot is, how tall am I? I'm 5'9". I always say in my videos, like, I'm so tall. 5'9" isn't like that tall, but it's like tall. So that's how tall I am. I wear platform shoes a lot too. And recently I put new soles in my platform Doc Martens, and they make me like a whole half an inch taller than the shoes normally do, so I feel like I'm walking around on stilts. It's insane. Another question I got a couple times is, what am I studying in college? For those of you who don't know, maybe you do, because a lot of my earlier content was kind of based around my college. I go to Wesleyan University in Connecticut. I always clarify that because there's a lot of Wesleyans around the country. I go to the one in Connecticut, and I am studying film, and I am minoring in German. I'm making a short film this fall. It's my first ever like short film. I've worked on other people's before, but I've never like directed my own. And it's really exciting, but also like incredibly nerve-wracking. So if I disappear, that's what happened. I'm like, I passed away. Neighboring asks, what's the first thing I notice about somebody? The answer to that is honestly probably their outfit. It's interesting to me because I didn't really think of myself as a fashion person until like January of this year. Like, I knew I really liked putting together outfits that I felt good in, but I didn't realize like how kind of obsessed I was with fashion. Maybe I've just become more obsessed. That's extremely possible. But definitely someone's outfit, I'll be like, whoa, those shoes are cool. Who's this person? Someone asks, how old am I? I am 20. Someone also asks, I've seen people using its pronouns, and I was wondering if they're valid because they thought they were created by like transphobic people. So this is kind of an important thing about reclaiming language. I've also seen people using its pronouns, and what I would say about that is, yeah, that's totally valid. They're reclaiming something that may have been used against them in some way. You know, if someone is like trans and using those pronouns, then like, yeah, respect those. Generally, I've seen its pronouns in use with also other pronouns additionally. And I would say that, you know, if you're a cis person, really make extra sure that that trans person is actually comfortable with you using those pronouns, because it might be a little bit of a limited to trans people using those pronouns. I think it's perfectly valid, and I do this, for you to limit what pronouns someone can use depending on like your relationship to them, or depending on if they're cis or trans. So yeah, its pronouns are valid is what I'm saying. Someone asked me, did you regret cutting your hair short when you first did it? No, I didn't regret it at all. I was like so happy. My hair was so heavy. I always had it up. It was giving me headaches all the time. I totally loved it pretty much immediately. Someone asked me, do you like Starbucks? And if so, what do you drink? I do love Starbucks. I do indeed. I'm from Seattle. I'm from the Seattle area, to clarify. I enjoy a good iced green tea. Coffee, caffeine makes me like insane and jittery and nauseous. So I'll drink it when I'm like, feel like I can handle that feeling. But it's just not sustainable. Next question is, what's your biggest fear? This is interesting because I feel like my biggest fear changed recently. Before, my biggest fear was like getting human trafficked, because that's scary. And now my kind of biggest fear that I more so am confronted with, honestly often, is my fear of wild animals. I've had a lot of dreams about cougars and bears, confrontations with them attacking my family. I don't think I've ever seen like a cougar or a bear, but I've encountered both of those in my lifetime through sound, like going on hikes. I've encountered cougar growl and I have encountered bear growl, and those are in the past couple years. So my fear of wild animals has greatly increased to the point where I'm like, even if I'm outside at my house, which to be fair is in the middle of the woods, I get freaked out by just regular forest animal sounds. Like, I just can't. It's something that's really impacts me, actually. So that's my biggest fear. Someone says they're new to the channel. Hello, welcome. And they're asking, what videos are your personal faves to start with? I really like my I Eat Boys cover. I made that with my boyfriend. We weren't dating yet, but it was kind of obvious. I'm just like really proud of that video. Hands off, kid, you'll wake up in my basement, and all of the feds have to break in. That whole thing came together in a week. Like, I probably only spent like 3 days actually working on it. So, I really like that video. And then another personal fave is like my first androgynous outfits video. But I also really like the vlogs that I've done in the past. Like, I've done some vlogs at home and some like vlogs in college, and it's really interesting to see my style evolve through those. Yeah, so those are a couple of my faves. Do I have any tattoos? And if not, do I want any? I do not have any tattoos, nor do I really want any. That's my answer. Another person asked, how do I deal with gender dysphoria on really bad days? Luckily, I don't have really bad days super often. I feel like when I do, it's usually when I'm on my period, because like my boobs are bigger. I really do just try to find somehow an outfit to make it work, and sometimes it takes many tries to like get into the right one. Another person asks, when did you start finding your style, and how did you get over any fear of judgment from people? As I said, I started finding my style in college. In terms of judgment from people, I feel like kind of it comes with the territory of being like a non-binary person, that like people are gonna like judge me for my fucking existence. So I've just accepted it. I surround myself with people who like accept me and like enjoy my fashion. I feel like if someone doesn't enjoy my fashion, like they're probably not gonna enjoy my gender. That's my take. Don't like my style, you're transphobic. Don't mean that. Yeah, I just surround myself with people who celebrate me. And I don't want that to sound like I don't check myself or anything, but I just don't have toxic friends. You know what I mean? I have good friends. I also think that getting older helps with the fear of people judging you. You're never gonna see them again. What camera do you film with? Right now I'm filming with the Canon G7X Mark II. I also have a Canon T7i that I use a little less frequently. This is just like really easy to set up and get going and film. The only issue is that the microphone picks up the autofocus motors, which is why I'm using my phone as a microphone right now. In my opinion, the best camera for you is the one that you will film, the one that is easiest to pull out, which is why sometimes I film on my phone, because it is what is accessible to me. I'm not gonna not film something because I don't have my fancier cameras, and I'm not gonna let any kind of like setup get in the way of me creating. Another person asked, do you bind yourself in any way? I have this sports bra that honestly is quite like a binder that I started wearing a little bit freshman year of college, and I kind of was aware that I was binding, but I still wasn't really ready to be out about it. I just kind of knew that I felt good when my chest was flat under my tighter t-shirts, so I would wear that with my tighter t-shirts. But I actually don't own a binder. I'm gonna buy one soon, I think, because it's about time, you know what I mean? But currently not really. I do have a tendency, I think a lot of people do this, I have sort of the posture that hides my tits. I do a little So, who relates? Another person asked for my favorite movie and series. I don't know if I have a favorite series. Avatar: The Last Airbender is really good. But favorite movie, Pride and Prejudice, 2005. I honestly have a whole video kind of inspired by that movie. It's true. It's called How to Get Over a Quarantine Heartbreak. It's about my ex. I hate him. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite movie. I watched it last night. Person asked, what's your favorite piece of clothing or pair of shoes? I don't think I have a favorite piece of clothing, honestly. But my favorite shoes are honestly probably my platform docs. Like, you see them in all my outfit videos. They're so cute. I love them. Okay, we're moving to the YouTube questions. I know, that was just Instagram. There's a Q&A on my channel where I got 4 questions. Who are you people? Where do you all come from? I don't know. YouTube algorithm. Favorite aesthetics or inanimate objects that just fuel gender euphoria / euphoria in general? I really like things with flames on them and spikes. Flames and spikes, give them to me. How long does it take you to write a song, and what's the most difficult part of the process? It takes anywhere from like half an hour to like a couple months to write a song. My most recent song I wrote in like the course of 3 months, and the most difficult part of the process is kind of like when I get stuck. There are definitely like just phases where I just don't write that much, and that's okay because I know that I'll always come back to it. Pushing through writer's block is really hard though, which is why I usually don't push through it. I usually just wait. Someone asks, are you doing well these days, and what helps you feel better when you're low? I'm doing a mix of things these days. I've been in New York with my boyfriend for the past week. I think it definitely helps to be in a more active space just in terms of my mental health, but like, yeah, I deal with depression. Like I'm not well all the time, and I think that this summer especially, I've been keeping this kind of private, but I'll tell you for the video. No, actually, I've been struggling a little bit with like appetite and eating this summer, so yeah, that's been impacting me. And in terms of feeling better when I'm low, like sometimes I really just need to like, either have a good cry. I had a good cry last week. I have my big summer nervous breakdown that I have annually. Watch a movie you love, eat something that you love. Like that honestly helps me feel better. And then other times I know that the only way I will feel better is if I finish the thing that I need to do. That also can help. Someone asked, do you have any YouTubers that you watch practically every new upload for? Yeah, I'll talk about like some that I've had in the past. I think currently I've been watching like Emma Chamberlain's new uploads. Her new style of videos is really cool. I like it, and I think that she's able to do that because she's already famous. That's kind of my take on that, but I think they're great videos and they're really comforting to watch. And then like for a while I watched like all of Haley Pham's videos, which probably seems kind of strange. I don't really anymore, but for a long time I watched like every single one of her videos. For a while I watched Nicole Raffy's videos, probably Riss Egrek, Made You Looks, Jade Fox YouTube channel. She does fashion, andro fashion. I've talked about her before. I like her videos a lot, and I feel like she just gives better advice than me. Like I really just feel that way. But I think it's probably just because she gives different advice than I would, but she really knows what she's talking about when it comes to like fashion in terms of like the fashion world. Whereas I'm just sort of like, I like flames. Ninja Tomboy asked, how did you gain the confidence to start a YouTube channel? I've been doing YouTube since middle school, baby. I've always been incredibly shy. Very truthfully, I'm so shy, and I'm actually super comfortable talking to a camera because I've been doing it for so long. Like it doesn't freak me out as much. It kind of freaked me out when I started gaining subscribers, honestly. It's like a lot different when there are a lot more people on the other side. I don't think I was ever shy about the camera or about being on YouTube because I just always was like, yeah, I want to do that. That's fun. Robin Icarus asks, what's your favorite band / music? I don't know if I have a favorite band, but I really like alternative music, specifically like punk pop and punk music. Transparent Soul is a amazing song of the summer. Like that's kind of music that I really like. Ruby Rose asked, what was your coming out experience? Oh my god, this one's exciting. Maybe I should do a whole video on this, but I will touch on it briefly here. I got my wisdom teeth removed last year, and while I was in this incredibly drugged out state, I woke up from the operation, and this like orthodontist assistant was kind of trying to calm me down, but I was like sobbing my fucking eyes out because I knew what I was about to do, and just like waiting for her to get my mommy. And I asked her for a piece of paper because I couldn't talk because I just gotten dental surgery, and I wrote on that piece of paper, I'm non-binary. and I handed it to her, and that's how I came out to my mom. And she was immediately like on board with it. I think I'm really lucky to have a really accepting family. I think there's definitely a difference between, you know, being accepting of trans people and like really like knowing a trans person and like being okay with that, because it does trip a lot of people up, but luckily it doesn't trip up my family. I feel really lucky for that. Caitlin Moriarty asks, how do you describe your music and is it different from your taste in music? I would say my taste in music and my music itself is pretty similar. My music is like alternative / like punk pop, and I've also like explored a big range of music in terms of my own style. Like I definitely have different kind of styles within my own music. It's honestly kind of hard to come up with like a cohesive collection, but I did record an album recently, so just so you know, that is happening. King Sauce asks, do you like ducks? I do. My alarm clock used to be the duck sound, just so you know. It's funny how many of these questions are about like what music I listen to. Like this commenter Robin asks, do you listen to punk rock? Yeah, baby. Numerous frogs ask. So many frogs are asking me what's my favorite self-care / self-love activity. I love watching movies with myself. I just love watching movies. I'm a film major. What can you do? And I also love playing music, but sometimes that can be a little wrapped up into my whole emotional self. Sophie asks, do you have any tips for people wanting to start a YouTube channel or music career? My biggest piece of advice, and a lot of people's biggest piece of advice, is to start now. Don't wait for the equipment. Don't wait for the right time, because the right time is now. I've been on YouTube for a long time, like many years, and now is the time when a lot of people are finding my content. I think it's honestly really good for me, because I actually feel like I've grown into myself and I really know who I am right now. And I think if I had gained any sort of following on YouTube before that, it would have been a lot harder on me as a person. What I'm trying to say is like, it's definitely not too late for starting a YouTube channel or starting your music career. You just need to like do it. Figure out what path makes the most sense for you. Like for me, the path that makes the most sense in terms of my music, I play shows at my college, sure. But one of the things that fuels me in my YouTube channel is like knowing that it could really help with people hearing my music. But I also really just like making YouTube videos because it's fun to make YouTube videos. So another piece of advice, just have fun, right? Have fun. Be consistent. Know that things might not come instantly. Maybe they will. Maybe you'll get lucky. A lot of it is honestly luck and connections. I'm not gonna lie about that. The whole reason my videos have started to gain traction this year is because I did a collab with Grayson when they had many more subscribers than I did, and then that lended a lot more viewers to the next video I posted, which was my commentary on Olivia D'Andrea and about like toxic diet culture online. Those videos are really the same as the videos that I have been making, perhaps slightly more planned out, slightly better, but because I'm always growing. But I won't like sit here and lie to you and say like it's only hard work, because connections are part of it. Keep your eyes open to connections and to other creators who are your size, who are growing. Form those connections. Kingdom of Eternal Rain asks, do you do makeup? In which case, could you do an androgynous makeup tutorial? What's funny is I've never really thought about doing like androgynous makeup, but I should try that. I might like it. Adi Gonzaga asks, what's your favorite flavor of potato chip? I love sea salt and vinegar potato chips. They're so yummy. Cleo Winter asks, thoughts on frogs? I don't know, they're asking me a lot of questions though. Frogs are cute. Toad and frog? Frog and toad? Frog? Who? Listen to me, I recently reread a couple of those stories. It's such... They're so good. Reread those if you haven't. Frog is such a good friend, and Toad just like is depressed. I like relate to that character so much. It's just like such a good example of like how to be a good friend to somebody who is dealing with depression. I just realized I got another Instagram question that I'm gonna go back to. Someone was asking my thoughts on like cis people experimenting with like they them pronouns and other pronouns, and like is it okay for like cis people to use them if they like later decide, okay, yeah, I'm actually cis. Pronouns don't equal gender. We've said this, we know this. Just because someone uses she her pronouns, that doesn't mean that she identifies as a woman. And just because someone uses she they pronouns doesn't mean that they don't feel like more than like maybe those pronouns would imply. There are a lot of non-binary people who maybe exclusively use she, her, or he, him pronouns, which is what I was for a while, because I didn't really like they, them pronouns that much, and I really only started using them when I wanted to communicate with the outside world that I was non-binary, and I didn't want to be mistaken as a cis person. I do want people to know that I'm not a cis person, but I do feel as a non-binary person weird about like people who, you know, done the thing, tried out different pronouns, decided they're actually just cis, maybe they want to keep those pronouns. I don't feel good about cis people using they, them pronouns. I feel like that's encroaching on a little bit of trans territory. This like has the danger of like going into the territory of like gender trenders. I have a whole video talking about the idea of gender trenders and how I don't think that's really a thing that exists. But, you know, if you're cis and you are using like they, them pronouns, like if you are genuinely cis and using they, them pronouns, like why are you doing that? The world was made for you already. I think there's sort of this idea coming from cis people, this is my perception, cis people who are like trying to be supportive of they, them pronouns and therefore also using them, that's like, yeah, any pronouns are valid. Like I use they, them pronouns and I'm cis, therefore they, them pronouns are valid. What? That's not the point. That's a way that a lot of trans people express themselves. You're not being helpful is what I'm saying. For me, this kind of relates to how like a bunch of cis people now put pronouns in their bios to normalize it, which is like very good. That's a very good step. But the minute that cis people start pressuring other people to do that, you run into problems because you might be forcing someone to out themselves or forcing someone to misgender themselves. I don't know. I feel like cis people have a way of just like taking things and running with them without thinking. And this could be one of those. That's my personal take. Maybe my take will change in the future. I don't want to be too harsh about this, but like, I don't feel good about cis people using other pronouns. Experimenting is fine if you're finding out your gender, but if you end up for sure being cis, like, I don't, like, just don't. But if any part of you is like still thinking about it, and if any part of you is like, I really wish, then maybe you're not actually cis. And like, to be honest, like I don't care if you're not out and you're using like they, them pronouns. Like if you're like saying you're cis but you're still using those pronouns, but it's just because you're like not out, like whatever, like you're using the pronouns you want to hear, like that's fine. But if you're like a legit cis person, just don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't really want to be exclusionary to people with things related to gender at all, because I think that can be dangerous. But I do feel like that should be one thing that trans people get to keep. Okay, that's the end of this little Q&A. I've been filming for an hour now. This video is probably really long. And I just want to thank you again for 25,000 subscribers. That feels like a huge checkpoint for me. I'm really grateful for all of you coming and staying and finding something in my content, because I work really, really hard on it. Things might be a little bit weird with my YouTube videos the next few weeks because I'm just not moved into college yet. I am just staying with my boyfriend, so it's a little awkward to find places to film and time to film now that I am here thinking. Also, don't forget to check out vitaly, link in the description, if you want to check out some of this just cool jewelry. It basically just helps me for them to know that you guys are interested. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. I don't know what to ask you, like do you have any video requests? Like, I'm all ears. I've got honestly a ton of ideas, but if I see one that I want to add to the list, we're golden, you know what I mean? Okay, bye, love you.